Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much. I'm so very glad that you're here. Today I wanted to give you guys a quick demonstration on how I do a distress ink background on a page that I've already colored. So I know that I've alluded to this in the past two reverse color alongs that I've presented here on the channel, but today I thought I would actually do a quick demonstration for you, and I hope you find it interesting and helpful. So meet me on the other side and we'll get started. Let's get started. So I think you all will recognize this page. When I first introduced my idea for reverse color alongs a month ago, this is the page I demonstrated that on. Part of that process is my distress ink background, and I realized after I've done two of these now for you guys that I really haven't demonstrated this to you. So while I do have a couple of other distress ink how-to videos, I thought I would stop down and demonstrate it here in light of the recent reverse color along stuff I've been doing and show you. So what I'm going to do is this is the page I demoed my color combos on over here, and I went ahead and completed that. And this is the page I'm going to demonstrate how to do the distress inks on over here. So before we get started, let me show you some of my coloring supplies. Excuse me. So I've got 3 distress inks we're going to use, and I get these little, they're called mini ink pads. These are Ranger ink, excuse me, and I've got Shabby Shutters, Weathered Wood, and Iced Spruce. So you can see the Shabby Shutters over here is sort of this greenish yellow color. The Weathered Wood is the very light sort of gray steel color, and the Iced Spruce is the darker blue, like slate gray, slate blue color you see on the page. So with these little mini ink pads, I'm so sorry, you can get them in like a 3x3 distress ink pad. So if you've got some favorite colors, you can definitely go bigger than these little ones. I've only been using the little ones, and they really last a long time, and they're a lot more cost effective. You can usually buy them, I believe they're available in, well, I know they're available in like sets of 3. So set number 1 will have 3 colors. So if you go to buy these 3 colors, they might be in 3 different sets on Amazon. And I think you can also buy them individually. It might be more expensive individually, but I haven't price checked that, so don't take my word on that. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So this is, sorry, this is the me trying to record early in the morning, so you get the groggy voice. I'm terribly sorry. So pardon me for that. So, okay. I have these little blending tools that I also got on Amazon, and I'll leave links to all of this in the description of this video. But you can see that this, the sponges I like to use have kind of a domed head to them, and I find that they blend a lot better, and they're a little more gentle with the blending. And I wanted to show you an example. You can also find sponges that look like this. Let me see if I can, I don't know if that's in focus or not, but these are thinner pads, and they aren't as forgiving because it's just a flat surface. So when you go to set this down, you're probably going to get a blobby circle. It's possible. So there's different kinds, but try them both. Find the one that you like the best. But this actually feels a little denser. This is a little, I don't want to say flimsier, but this just feels better to me. They also make these sponge applicator blending tools in something that looks kind of like, it's shaped like a spoon. And some people find those to be a little more natural than like blending like this. You're blending more like with a utensil. So those are also out there, and I'll try to find a link for those as well, so you can figure out which one you like better and maybe read the reviews and see what other people like better. Okay, with that said, I'm going to get everything ready and set up, and we'll get started, and I will walk you through my process. I promise this will be a quick video. Sometimes I say that, and then it's not. I'm sorry. When I start out, my intention is that I think it's going to be a quick video, but definitely for this, I think it will be pretty quick. So let me get my stuff, and I'll be right back. One thing I highly recommend is just a blank piece of cardstock or paper or something behind the page you're working on, so you can easily go over the edges and not worry about it hitting the page behind or anything like that. So I just have this, you can see it's a scrap piece of paper that I've been using. Oh, actually bonus, it's 2 pieces of paper. Whoops. We'll just chunk that one on the ground. But this is something I've been playing with color palettes on. So just stick a sheet of paper back there. Then over here to the side, you can't see it, but this is how I have everything laid out. I have like a tissue, and I have the all of my stuff in order. So this is the Shabby Shutters. So on my tissue, I line everything up, and I always put the blender tool back in front of the ink pad where I got it, because you can see when you look at these, sometimes it's easy to mix up the colors, and it's easy to, I've done that before, and then now you get mixed colors on your sponges and stuff like that, so that's not fun. Okay, one thing I wanted to talk about was, like you can see over here, it's tricky blending after you've colored the page. I think most of the time it's easiest or best to do your background first. I get lazy, y'all know this, and oh, by the way, my nail polish color matches. I get lazy, and sometimes I don't know what I want the background to be until I've colored it, and then I'll decide. So if I've already colored this, then going back in with Neocolor 2s probably wouldn't lend itself to a very neat process. It would probably get, I'm not very neat with or I don't have a very steady hand with the paint brushes, so I would probably make a complete mess of this and accidentally not spill, but you know, the brush might go over some of the colored areas, things like that. I'm not saying don't do your Neocolors after you've already colored. I'm saying for Kim, that's not a good process. What I have found for me, and I can only speak for me, is Distress ink stamping over this after it's done is pretty forgiving and very easy, and it actually goes pretty quick. So with that, what I want to do is show you that, like for the lighter areas, so that I'm not taking a dark ink like the iced spruce. I don't want to stamp over the yellow flower, right? Because that, and you can sort of control by using maybe the edges or the sides to get into these little spaces. But if I'm coloring in around here, I'm probably going to use the lighter Shabby Shutters, which is this yellowish green, and that's going to be a lot gentler on these lighter areas than the darker color. So what do I mean? Let me show you. So I'm going to take my tool and the ink stamp here, the ink pad, and I'm just going to, you know, get some ink on it. Now, the first time you set this down, you could get a splotch. I don't know if that's in camera or not. You could get a splotch, but I'm not going to worry about that. So this is the lighter color, and I'm just going to, and you're going to work in swirls. So I'm just going to start swirling and then lay the color down on top of that. You can already see it's very light. So let me get some more ink on here. We're going to kind of go in these areas here. And again, I'm not worried. So the lightest color on this flower is my cream pencil, my cream Prismacolor pencil. So if it picks up some of the properties of this ink, I'm not worried about that. That doesn't bother me. Now, if you are somebody that is bothered by that, then this might not be the process for you. But I think that this will come out with a beautiful result. And it's just really, like I said, it's just very forgiving, stamping over all of these little areas in here. So you can see already we're getting that nice greenish background, and it's still preserving the color of the yellow flowers. So when do I start mixing in the other colors? Well, let's start with Weathered Wood, which is a little lighter. And we can start bringing in some Weathered Wood, and I'm going very light up here. And if you feel brave, you can even bring it down just a little bit, like around the outside edges of those flowers. But it's a lot, this one's really light. And then what I do is I like to mix up the colors. So I'll come back in with the Shabby Shutters and bring like a little bit more of a greenish glow right in here. So you can see how we're mixing the colors around. And that makes it interesting, right? Now, what about this dark iced spruce? So I like to try to go dark around the edges of my page. So with this one, you're not going to need a ton of ink on the pad. But if you take your piece of paper, and let me get a good corner going here. And if you start swirling off the page, and I learned this from a video that Zucchini Kitty did, so the credit goes to her. If you start swirling off the page and then bring it onto the page, it's better than if you were to, and I'll go ahead and make a splotch, start on the page, and then you get the splotch, right? So if you start off the page and move on, you're going to get a nicer edge. So keep that in mind. But I like to, like I said, have darker edges around the outside of any kind of background that I do. I'm just kind of getting ink off camera here. We'll see if we're still in camera. I think I am. I guess I'll check in just a second. Hang on. Yep, still in camera. I have to stand up to look to see if I'm still in camera, guys. I'm so sorry. I do not have the most high-tech setup. Literally rolling with my iPhone right up here on a light stand. So I always appreciate your grace and forgiveness with my video gaffes here. Okay, so let me bring this down just a little bit. We'll just keep going around the outside. And I'm probably being a little more prescriptive with doing the outside edges darker than I did on the original page. So, you know, that's the other thing too. When you're doing a double facing page like this, it's hard to get, you could put a piece of paper like right up against this as you're inking this side, especially if you're going to do a completely different color palette or different colors on the other page and you don't want it to bleed over. I knew when I was demoing on this page that I was going to carry the Distress ink over, so I didn't worry about it spilling over like that. So just FYI. Okay, so I'm going to come back in with the Shabby Shutters. We're going to pick up some more greenish stuff, and I'm just spreading it around, spreading the love. And I think what I will do is come in and darken up a couple of these little areas, and I'll show you how to do that. But in these little tight spaces here, I want to make sure that I'm getting some color in there, and it's easiest to go in because I'm just going right over that flower to get that, and it still looks okay. So I hope that y'all find this helpful and useful. Again, okay, now this is the weathered wood, and here I'm just kind of dabbing it in a little bit to mix it up. And I'm kind of using an angle, sort of the side, to do that. So, but anyway, you know, the first Distress ink video I did in one of my mandala books, and that was demonstrating using Distress ink with something called, I think it's called drawing gum, which is like a blue substance that you paint over, you sort of mask. It's like a masking fluid. So you mask the areas that you don't want to be inked. And then you ink all over it, and then you peel off that mask. And so that was that first video. The second video I did was a follow-up to a how I color hair video. So it was a Hanna page. And I went back and did the Distress ink background in a separate video, but I thought this would be a little more relevant and recent for y'all than the other ones, since it really dovetails into this reverse color along stuff I've been doing. And again, I hope that y'all found that helpful. I did post a reverse color along page that does not have a video corresponding with it, and that's because I just didn't have the time to do the video after I did that page. But that is posted on my, if you go to my channel and you click on community, that's an area on this channel where I can, it's like the equivalent of an Instagram post maybe, where I can post some things or, you know, take some polls and things like that. So I posted the page there with a link to my Ko-fi account. And again, everything on my Ko-fi account that's out there is 100% free. Do not feel obligated to pay me anything. For those of you that have, thank you so much. That's just completely generous, and it was not my intention at all, but I don't want you to feel guilty if you go out and say $0. I do it all the time on other people's accounts. So please, it's something I want you to have, so please don't feel obligated. Okay, so that said, so we're just mixing up the colors here, right? So I'm going to add maybe a little more blue. I say blue, it's the weathered wood. I think it's really pretty in here. So you can see I'm just kind of mixing it up a little bit. Okay. And you see how fast this is going? I would probably still be coloring one flower. If I were demonstrating how to color like one of these flowers, I would still be coloring that one flower. And here we're almost done with this background. Isn't that funny? Okay. So most everything is the weathered wood and the shabby shutters for the most part. I don't have a ton, like I said, most of this darker part with the ice spruce, and here's some ice spruce. I'll throw some in here. I really kind of saved that for the outs. Now see here, you can see where I got that on the yellow flower, and that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so one of the things I hope y'all have picked up on my channel is I try to be as stress-free as possible with my coloring. I always say if you are not enjoying the process, or you are really just stressing out over the process, you have a lot of angst and anxiety about the process, step away, put the coloring stuff down, and just come back to it later, because you're not enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, what's the point? Why are you spending time doing it, right? You might be doing it because you feel like you're supposed to be doing it, but don't feel that way. We all go through cycles where we color, and then one day we're like, I'm kind of burned out on coloring. So just walk away and go do something else for a little while, and then come back to it. If you love it, you'll come back to it. If you truly are burned out and decided you're done with it, you'll find something else you'll love. And then you can send all your coloring supplies to me. Kidding. Okay, so you can see how pretty this is and how it's really matching this other page nicely, right? So I'm going to keep going with the weathered wood up in here. Just mixing that up. I'm going to make sure I'm still in camera. I think I am. Okay. One of the things too, I'd love to know in the comments. So I know in the past I've done a survey on which colored pencils y'all use. The thing I don't like about that polling feature on my community section of the channel is it only allows me to give 5 options. Hey, do you like pencils 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? If not, leave me a comment. And sometimes people don't see that and they just only feel like they can pick from 1 through 5. What I want to know is, what are your favorite pencils? What are your go-to pencils? They don't have to be expensive pencils. They can be just the pencils that make you happy, that you love to use. I want to know what those are, because as I continue and move forward with these reverse color alongs and I do color conversions, those sheets I've been doing, right now I just have 6, is that right? Yeah, 6 alternative pencil choices where I try to convert, like here I used Prisma, so I try to convert the Prismas over to like Polychromos, Artex, Chromaflows, things like that. Let me know what I want to try to include as many as possible. I don't think I can do all of them. There's so many out there. And sometimes there aren't, if I don't own the pencils, then I'm just going out to look at color conversion charts online and making my best guess. So, and if you're okay with that, that's cool. I do start out with the conversion chart from Karen at My Colorful Country Life. She's got a wonderful color conversion chart. And if her conversion chart has a pencil conversion, that's the one I select. If it doesn't, then I go through and I make my best guess, my best choice. So let me know what your favorite pencils are, and I will try to be as inclusive as I possibly can with a different set of pencils. And maybe I just mix it up, and from week to week I change up the pencils that I'm putting in the color conversions for these reverse color alongs. But it can be quite a process to go through a lot of them, so I try to limit it just to 6. So if I could figure out what the most popular 6 are and use those, that is my preference, but I don't want to lose you if I'm not including what you like to color with, and you don't feel like you're getting anything out of those reverse color alongs. So just let me know. We can figure it out. We'll figure it out together. We'll see what works best. Okay, almost done here. I'm trying to kind of clean up this little, I don't think I'll be able to get that line. And this might be where having that flat edge sponge would be a great thing. Maybe a little, oops. I just mixed up my sponges. See what I did? I just put this sponge in the weathered wood. Don't be a Kim. Pay attention. This is what happens. I start yapping. And then, yeah, that happens. Okay. So I think we've got something good here. Got a little bit of color there. And you could just kind of keep going on and tweaking this forever. But I think that's good enough. I think y'all get the idea. All right, so there we go. And what do you think? That wasn't so bad, right? Pretty easy. And now, after the distress inking is done, if you have any white highlights you want to apply to the page, this would be the time to go back and add those white Posca glittery elements that you like. And yeah, I think that does it. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Again, I hope that this tutorial was helpful to show you how it's so easy to distress ink on a completed coloring page. All right, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.